Hey everyone, welcome back to my latest trapping video. This is actually a video you guys probably really want to see. This is actually me going to be testing tier 5. So one of my guildmates got tier 5, so I was going to go out and test to see how it would work. So what I did was I did a couple camp tests just to kind of see how they would work with 1% of each of our comps. So at 375,000, it's 3,750. For me, it's about 27,000, 28,000, 70,000. Those are 1% of my comp. Then we did a full tier 4 test at the end just to see how close the camp test is to an actual hit. And it is literally within 1,000 troops. So it is very close. It will probably work out the same amount. This is with no tier 5 familiars. Keep that in mind. Permadoc does have 800% or 810 or around 810% range. So this is kind of what we're testing. So I'm going to throw out, what was it, 27,000 gladiators, which is 1% of my comp, and then 28,850-ish cav, which is again 1% of my comp, then 70,000 archers, again 1% of my comp, and 1,000 siege. So this will be a 1% comp, which is about 126,000 troops. I'm going to march to the tile. He's actually going to march first, so I'm going to be hitting him, only because, sorry, I kind of messed up. I didn't send my familiar, so I have to actually make this very similar, so I got to make sure I actually send the familiar as well, because if the tests aren't equal, it's not really a scientific kind of method. So we're going to do the scientific methodly. Doc only has like 10,000 tier 5 right now, so I couldn't do a full attack or anything like that, so we couldn't test that. He probably doesn't want to lose that many tier 5 right away anyways, so we're going to do a quote-unquote scientific method, and then you'll see at the end he does a full tier 4 march as well. So that first one was actually tier 4. This is going to be the tier 5, I believe, so he's going to do the tier 5. He's going to march to the tile first. My camp's going to hit him secondly, so what's going to happen is he's not actually going to lose any of his tier 5 because they're a little expensive. Even healing them is expensive, so you would not want to lose them as well. So I'm just going to hit him now. He sent the tier 5. He has a full march in there, so he's got his leaders, his familiars, his heroes and all that stuff. Same with me, I'm sending a full march as well, just to kind of test it out. So you can see on the tier 5, he did 3,194 damage, which is higher than the other one. It's about 50% higher, I believe, for damage, but we'll take a look at that. Yeah, you can see that's my army, and then his army is there, and you can see he sent all the familiars with his 11k hero and all that stuff. So he does have all that in there. Full familiars, no tier 5 familiars, because I didn't really want to see what tier 5 familiars will do, because they're doing auto damage and all that stuff, so that's not really a big important part. We know they're going to do a ton of damage on top of that, but I'm just trying to see the difference between the strength of the troops themselves, the tier 4 versus the tier 5. We know the tier 5 familiars are going to do a ton of damage on top of that, but that's going to be extra damage. It's not going to be the damage that you'll be getting in an actual attack from the troops itself. So we just want to test how strong the difference in troops are. And then we're going to do a full attack at this point, just to make sure that the camp tests are similar in actual damage and they do scale up properly. He's going to send a full tier 4 march at me, so thank you for doing this, Permadoc, and losing your troops. He's going to send same troops, same gear, all that. So he's at, I think, 810% range. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just sitting in my normal trap comp. I have my war gear on, with my what's called heroes on my wall and my familiar. Same thing as when we are attacking the camp. And hopefully this is going to be 100 times more damage, so it'd be equal to the camp test, so that we can actually call this a proper test, and you'll actually see that this is the actual damage. And I'll show you all the familiars and everything he sent at the end, just to show what familiars he was sending, the actual troop. And then I accidentally clicked on the call we were in, because we were doing the call, but his leader is walking back right now, because his actual familiar actually saved his leader. He didn't actually use the thing. It was the jailbreak 10% thing, so that actually got him to walk back. And as you can see, I took 196,000 damage from that blast. Those are the familiars. I'll go over the familiars as well, but it is exactly 100 times more damage, so that worked out really well. So I'm actually, yeah, so if we take a better look at the actual attack, so we'll take a look at the tier 4 attack first. Tier 4 attack is, what was it? Yeah, he did 1,987 damage, was about 198,000. So it was within like a couple thousand troops. We can take a look at the familiars he used. He did use the Tailwind, which is what's called the new one, the 200% attack. He had his long shot, boosts range attack, the increases infantry max HP. That one you probably don't want on there, but and this one stuns the squads. And then this one increases range HP. So the only one there was the infantry. That was weird. I'm not sure why he sent that one, but maybe he just didn't have another familiar, because I said he couldn't send his tier 5 familiars just because I wanted to see the difference in the actual troops and not the difference in the familiar attacks, because we know the tier 5 familiars do a ton of damage. That's not what we're trying to look. We're trying to look at how strong the difference is between the tier 5, and if we need to change our comps a lot, we will need to add troops from what I see here, because this is a full counter and he's still doing this much damage. So we will have to change our comps for sure. Are we taking like 1.5 million losses if we get countered? So we will need a bigger comp, but it won't be as crazy as I thought it would be. So that's the first one. Then we'll show you the tier 5 one. Tier 5 here, he did 3,194. So if you scale that up, it's about 319,000. But that's from a full counter. So a Cav Blast would do almost 1 million damage, just the troops itself. So you got to keep that in mind. They do a ton more damage. We're looking at about 50% more damage to your comp. So you got to keep that in mind. We're going to have to maybe build a lot stronger so you can take a blast that's almost 50% stronger than normal. So same thing. We'll take a look at the familiars. So it is all the same familiars, if you guys are wondering. Just keeping it totally the same here. So yeah, so he injured 3,194, and we'll make sure he has the same heroes and all that. So everything is the same there. And then we'll take a look at the actual blast attack. Where is it? Here it is. I think this is the blast attack. This was, yeah, full blast, full familiars, same thing. This is the skill. It lets your leader escape 10%. That seems to happen more often than I think, because I swear, like every time I cap a Titan, they get their leader back because they have this prison break thing. And then looking at all the familiars are the same, so we kept it the same the whole time. This one, he did 196,000 damage. That's his setup, same heroes, same familiars, all that. So it did actually scale very, very well if you take it percentage-wise. We sent the exact same amount of troops, basically, percentage-wise and all that. I think the only difference was I didn't send tier 3, because I have tier 3 in here, so maybe that's why it did less damage, or I did... Oh yeah, he did less damage on this one. So maybe it was because I didn't send the tier 3 in the other one, but that's not a big deal, so... So taking a look at that, that actually gives me a lot of confidence in rebuilding the trap. I don't need to go a full rally trap comp, I don't believe. Titans will do obviously a lot more damage and all that, but whatever. I mean, like I said, Permadoc, he does have 11k heroes. He does have over 800% attack. The only difference here was no tier 5 familiars. So if tier 5 familiars were in there, they're doing a ton more damage because you're adding on whatever 300,000 or 400,000 your backline from the tier 5 familiars. You got to remember that. And then if this was a full counter, so at 310,000 on a full counter, if you're getting countered, you're looking at about 3 times that amount of damage, sort of thing. Because if you counter, you take about half damage. If you don't counter, you take about double damage. So if you sent infantry, you'd be doing like, let's say 600,000. Just from his infantry, if everything was the same. And then Cav, you're looking at like over 1 million sort of thing. Like, or is it 50%, 3? I don't know. Something like that. So you're looking at over 1 million damage, let's say, from a full counter range blast without the tier 5 familiars. So you might want to add another 500,000 on there for the tier 5 familiars doing their damage. So you'd be looking at like a 1.5 million loss just from someone with 800+% attack with the tier 5, so we will have to make our comp stronger, but like I said, we won't need a full rally trap, I don't believe. I will be doing some more testing later on, so if you guys are wondering like what we need, and then someone hit me right after that. It was kind of funny. I'll probably put this in another video, but someone hit me right after that. I was actually just going to go do this video, and then all of a sudden I got a notification, hey, someone's hitting you. I'm like, oh no, I got on, and that guy was attacking me as well. So, but yeah, that's totally different. Anyways, so like I said, we won't have to do a full rebuild or anything like that. We won't need to go full rally trap or something like that, but we will need to make our traps stronger. Probably by building a lot more troops, I think. So I will basically do that, I guess. I guess Soul Traps would be around 130 mil for tier 5, 150 mil, maybe around there. So I will come up with a new comp once I actually get some full tests going on and people have more tier 5, because people are just building it right now. So that's all we have. That's all the information we can actually get right now, because only certain people who, like the big guys, all have tier 5 right now. The little guys don't have it, so we can't really do the testing yet. Like I said, he only has 10,000, so he's not about to lose 100,000 whatever tier 5 or whatever testing me, because that not when you only have that many. Later on, when once everyone has more, then it's not so bad. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope this gave you some new information. These are kind of the tests I've been doing, but once I can actually do a full test, I'll try a full test. I do not want to get countered on a full test. I want to do a countered full test first, and then I can extrapolate that up and how many more troops I need to build and all that. But I will need to make my comp maybe 30% larger. Like, what's my troop might right now? I'll take a look at that. Here, troop might is at 60 million. So yeah, I probably need to make it 90 million, which put me around 134 million might. So I'll try that, retest it with full tier 5, and then we'll get back to you and see how this works. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you like these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.